number 31. I will read out the lesson at the same time we will mark the keywords as well. Okay. Children, take page number 31. Lesson number 5, Birds and Their Nest. Julie, Raghav and Murthy are the pupils of Little Flower School. On Sundays, they often enjoy together. Today is Sunday and they have come to meet Uncle Henry, who lives next to Murthy's house. Uncle Henry is an ornithologist. Underline ornithologist. He was busy reading some book in his study. Children, good evening, Uncle Henry. Uncle Henry, good evening, kids. Children, what are you studying, Uncle? You have got so many books here. Uncle Henry, well, you know I am an ornithologist. Studying about birds and their ways of living is my subject. This book tells us about different types of nests that birds build. Julie, bird's nest? So interesting. Raghav, what is so interesting about nest? They are everywhere and we have all seen so many of them. Uncle Henry, yes, we have all seen them around our neighborhood. But the book I am studying tells us about some very special nests. And I think you may not have heard of them before. Murthy, is that so? I am dying to know about it all. Please tell us, Uncle. Uncle Henry, okay. First of all, I would like to tell you about the tailor bird. Children, tailor bird? The name sounds so funny. Uncle Henry, but the bird is really a tailor in its own right. It prepares its nest by stitching, underline stitching, a pair of leaves with some fiber or cobweb, underline cobweb. It uses its pointed bill as a needle to make holes in leaves and pass the fibers through from the branch of the tree. It serves as a cradle, underline cradle, for the baby birds. Is it not wonderful? Raghav, wonderful, really. I wish I could see the bird at work. Uncle Henry, maybe you will get lucky one day. Now let me tell you about the weaver bird and its nest. Julie, weaver bird? Oh, uncle, it sounds unbelievable. Underline unbelievable. Mr. Henry, oh no, you believe me, there is a bird with such a name because it builds its nest weaving grass and fibers together. The fibers are so perfectly woven, underline woven, that no drop of water can enter it. It's warm and cozy, underline cozy, during winters and cool and comfortable during the summers. Murthy, is there any air conditioner fitted in the weaver's bird's nest? Uncle Henry, haha, yes, a type of natural air conditioner indeed. The inside walls of the nest are plastered, underline plastered, with mud which maintains the inside temperature. There are 2 chambers in it, underline chambers, the upper floor and the ground floor. Sometimes the weaver bird sticks a glowworm on the muddy walls for light. Raghav, and that is some incredible electricity arrangement, underline incredible. Uncle Henry, yes, of course. In addition, it swings sitting on a crossbar made inside the nest. If you ever get a chance, just go to a forest and watch these nests. Children, sure, Uncle. Uncle Henry. And now Lucy has brought you some snacks. Just enjoy them. Children, thank you, Uncle. Thank you, Lucy. Now, next word bank. Study room means room for studying. Ornithology, the scientific study of birds. Dying to know means very anxious to know. Funny, full of fun. In its own right means by its own ability. Stitching means sewing. Cobweb, fine net of threads made by a spider. Fiber means very thin thread. Bill, beak, pecker. Incredible, difficult to believe. Weaver means one whose job is to weave cloth. Cozy means full of comforts. So children, I will read the keywords once again. Listen. First one is ornithologist. O-R-N-I-T-H-O-L-O-G-I-S-T. Ornithologist. Next, stitching. S-T-I-T-C-H-I-N-G. Stitching. Next, cobweb. C-O-B-W-E-B. Cobweb. Next, cradle. C-R-A-D-L-E. Cradle. Next, unbelievable. U-N-B-E-L-I-E-V-A-B-L-E. Unbelievable. Next, woven. W-O-V-E-N. Woven. Next, plaster. P-L-A-S-T-E-R-E-D. Plaster. Next, chambers. C-H-A-M-B-E-R-S. Chambers. Next, incredible. I-N-C-R-E-D-I-B-L-E. Incredible. I'll repeat once again. First one, ornithologist. Next, stitching. Next, cobweb, cradle, unbelievable, woven, plaster, chambers, incredible. Okay. Now I'll explain. All of you listen carefully. Lesson number 5, birds and their nest. Julie, Raghav and Moti are the pupils of Little Flower School. On Sundays, they often enjoy together. Today is Sunday and they have come to meet Uncle Henry, who lives next to Moti's house. Uncle Henry is an ornithologist. He was busy reading some book in his study. So, Julie, Raghav and Moti, they are the pupils of Little Flower School. They often enjoy together during Sundays. So, this Sunday, they had come to meet Uncle Henry, who is living next to Moti's house. And Uncle Henry is an ornithologist. Who is an ornithologist? The one who scientifically study about birds is called an ornithologist. And Uncle Henry is an ornithologist. And he was busy reading some books in his study room. Children, good evening Uncle Henry. Uncle Henry. Good evening kids. So when they went to Uncle Henry's house, they wished Uncle Henry and Uncle Henry also wished them back. Children, what are you studying, Uncle? You have got so many books here. Children asked Uncle Henry, what are you studying and you have got so many books in this room? Uncle Henry, well, you know I'm an ornithologist. Studying about birds and their ways of living is my subject. This book tells us about different types of nests that birds build. So Uncle Henry said, well, you know I'm an ornithologist. Who is an ornithologist? Studying about birds and their ways of living. That is his subject. And he says that this book tells different types of nests that birds build. That is what Uncle Henry was reading. Julie, bird's nest? So interesting. So Julie said, you're reading about bird's nest. That's so interesting. Raghav, what is so interesting about nests? They are everywhere and we have all seen so many of them. So at that time, Raghav said, what is special in that? We have seen so many nests everywhere, right? So what is that so much interesting in that? Raghav asked. Uncle Henry, yes, we have all seen them around our neighborhood. But the book I am studying tells us about some very special nests. And I think you may not have heard of them before. And Uncle Henry said, yes, we have seen them all in our neighborhood. But the book I am studying tells us about some very special nest. He was reading about some special nest, not the common one. And he said, I think you may not have heard about them. Murthy, is that so? I am dying to know about it all. Please tell us, uncle. So Murthy said, so special nest. So he was so anxious to know about it. So he said, uncle, please tell us about that. Uncle Henry, okay. First of all, I would like to tell you about the tailor bird. So Uncle Henry said, okay, I'll tell you. First, I will tell you about the tailor bird. Children, tailor bird? The name sounds so funny. So when the children heard about tailor bird, they said, tailor bird? That sounds so funny. Uncle Henry, but the bird is really a tailor in its own right. It prepares its nest by stitching a pair of leaves with some fiber or cobweb. So Uncle Henry said that bird is really a tailor in its own right. So tailor, you know, right, the one who stitches. So when the children heard about tailor bird, that sounds so interesting and funny for them. And Uncle Henry said that tailor bird is indeed like a tailor in its own ability, because it prepares its nest by stitching a pair of leaves with fibers or cobweb. Cobweb means what? A fine thread made by spiders. Spider web you have seen, right? So the tailor bird stitches its nest with some fibers or cobweb. It uses its pointed bill as a needle to make holes in leaves and pass the fibers through from the branch of the tree. It serves as a cradle for the baby birds. Is it not wonderful? And how it stitches, it uses its pointed bill as a needle. Bill means what? Its beak. So it uses its beak as a needle to stitch to make holes in leaves and pass the fibers through from the branch of the tree. So it serves as a cradle for baby birds. So what do you mean by cradle? A bed for babies, right? That move from side to side, right? So it serves as a cradle for the baby bird. So is it wonderful? Uncle Henry asked. Raghav, wonderful. Really, I wish I could see the bird at work. So Raghav said, yes, it's really wonderful and I wish I could see how the bird does its work. Uncle Henry, maybe you will get lucky one day. Now, let me tell you about the weaver bird and its nest. Uncle Henry said, okay, you will be lucky one day to see that. And now, let me tell you about the weaver bird and its nest. He said, next I will tell you about the weaver bird and its nest. Julie, weaver bird? Oh uncle, it sounds unbelievable. And Julie said, next weaver bird, and it sounds so unbelievable about the weaver bird. So are you all excited to know about how weaver bird does its nest? We will see in the next class. So children, all of you read this lesson thoroughly and learn the keywords and its spellings as well. Okay? Thank you.